Thank you for watching You Can Do It. I'm your host Chris, and today we're going to be installing a quick lock door set. It's a SmartKey security, and we're going to be doing 2 doors today. So we'll show you how you can do it. So stay tuned. So you want to remove these plastic pieces that hold the lock set to the cardboard. Take out the Phillips screws. And then there's one more down at the bottom here. We're just going to hold on to these screws here just in case they're needed. If not, we'll just put them in our bolt drawer. Alright. So we're going to move all of our hardware over in front of the door here and go through it with you.
This Kwikset comes with everything you need for the deadbolt and for the door handle mechanism as well. And if you see in the lower right-hand corner, there is that handy little key that is used to rekey the doors if you want all your doors to match. The first thing that we're going to do is we pull out this template, which we put against the door after, of course, we've removed the original handle and lock on the door so that we can perfectly set it up to accept that new door handle. So Chris is matching up the template and he's taping it exactly covering the original holes for the door. The purpose of this really is right down there at the very bottom where I'm pointing. That is where we are going to have to drill a hole so that Chris can attach the lower portion of that handle. He's taking a punch and he's giving it a few good hits with the hammer, and he's going to pull that template away and show exactly where that hole needs to be drilled in order to accept a screw for the bottom portion of the door handle. So that's what he's doing right there. He's taking a drill bit and just putting it right on through that solid core door, so that he can then attach that new handle and put the screw in the bottom there to secure that. Next step he's going to do is he's going to take the door latch. There's only one way to install this door latch, and that is, of course, the direction you're seeing Chris install it. The door latch has to be installed so that as it approaches the actual door jamb, it pushes in and goes right into the door jamb. So Chris was giving it a few pushes so that you can see which direction. Now, the really neat thing about this Kwikset door handle is there's a couple different ways to install it, depending on which swing your door is, either a right swing or a left swing. So if you need to adjust it, you just pull right as you saw Chris do and you rotate. He's going to show you a few more times how that's done. You give it a good pull and then you can turn that inner working whatever direction is needed in order to secure itself right through the door latch system. And then what he's going to show here is it attaching to the door latch, but you have to push the door latch in order to get the door locking mechanism to go through the door latch. Again, he'll show you right here. You push it in and you can see, if you look closely, the door latch itself is opening and closing. So it needs to be in the open position, which means your door latch has to be pushed in order to get that door lock through there. And then as you see at the very bottom, in order to secure the bottom of that handle, that was the purpose of the original screw hole and template that Chris had drilled out. So there is a long brass screw that comes with this system, and you put on that plastic washer before you push it through the door. That plastic washer is going to be the securing mechanism for the cover plate or the cover rosette that is going to cover that screw so it's nice and decorative. And of course, he's going to just hand screw that in. You don't want to over tighten any of this door system so that you don't end up stripping out any of the screws. So in this case, you're just going to hand tighten it. And then here is the inner door knob for the lower portion of this Kwikset system. There's only one way to install it, and those screw holes on the left and right have to match up with the screw holes inside the door. And again, he's giving it, putting those screws in and just hand tightening them just to get them snug enough so that he can take his screwdriver and install them the rest of the way. Definitely do not want to use a drill in this case to screw those screws in, because you might end up scratching the left or the right side of that oil rubbed bronze. So in this case, you are just going to want to use a manual screwdriver. And here, of course, he can go ahead and use his drill to install the screws on the latch plate. And the lower portion is officially finished, except for the rosette at the very bottom, which he's installing now. And there is a little open gap right there. You see that. That you're going to want to face down in case you ever need to remove that to get to the screw. You're just going to take a little flathead screwdriver and pop it open. So the lower portion of the door is officially done, minus the strike plate, but we're moving on to now the deadbolt. There are two, you see there, the brass and then that steel. You take those two apart. The brass is going to go in the exterior of the door. But first, of course, you're going to put in the actual deadbolt latch. There is a word up. And of course, that means you make sure that's pointing up when you put that in there. It's kind of easy to tell because the word Kwikset is right on that system. So you're going to want to make sure Kwikset is in the up position. So now you saw that brass plate went in there, and now he is putting in the locking mechanism right through that deadbolt. Real easy. You really just can't mess this up at all. It's a very easy system to install. And now he's taking the aluminum or the steel, I'm guessing it is, plate, and that also has the word up, and that is going to go right on the inside of the interior of the door. And again, make sure up is up and those two holes are lined up with the two holes in the deadbolt. And then finally, that is also labeled up. That's the locking mechanism, and that's going to go up, and the lock has to be in the up position in order to install the two final screws on the inside of that deadbolt. So he's going to go ahead and just lock the door so that the lock latching mechanism is straight up and down so that he can access those two screw holes. And so Chris is just finishing up the install of the two screw holes. And again, hand tightening is the best in this situation, just to make sure you don't overstrip the screws when they're going in. And he's just finishing that up with the two final screws on the deadbolt, and the door portion of this two-piece Kwikset security system is finished. So he's going to now move on to the strike plates on the actual door jamb. That's an easy removal of the old one, and it just so happens that that new strike plate fits perfectly. And so he's installing those two screws, nice long screws to really get into the meat of the door jamb. And then when it comes to the deadbolt, you'll see the Kwikset has a really nice, secure latching strike plate. It is oversized for the strike plate that was currently with this system. So you'll see how Chris goes ahead and remedies that situation. He lines it up and draws around with a pen in order to get the new position for the oversized strike plate. And an X-Acto knife will take care of that, or a box cutter, whatever you have. Chris scores it several times in order to get to the proper depth of the strike plate, and then he just chips away at that until the new position has been secured. He then, of course, drills the new 4 holes, and when you put that strike plate in, make sure that your large oversized screws are on the interior of that door jamb, so that you know that those very long oversized screws are going into the largest thickest meat of that door jamb. You see that they're about 2.5 inches long, so they're getting really deep into that meat. And here's the outside of the finished door, and then you'll see it on the inside. Finished door locks beautifully. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for the notification of all our upcoming videos.